Mary had a little man. The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today.
Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
A Jacksonville community is grieving the stunning loss of 3 people shot to death in what police say was a racially motivated attack. The FBI is investigating the shooting as a hate crime. Police say the gunman, 21-year-old Ryan Christopher Palmeter, sent racist writings to local law enforcement, the media, even his own parents, expressing his desire to kill black people. Officials releasing video of the gunman in a tactical vest before he opened fire in the parking lot and then inside a Dollar General store Saturday afternoon.
He let several people out of the store. Why, I don't know. Some of them were white, but I do believe there was a couple that were not.
The victims, identified as Angela Carr, Gerald Deshaun Gallion, and 19-year-old store employee Anult Joseph Laguerre Jr., known as AJ.
Why does he have to go now? Why so young?
Gerald Gallion's family says he worked hard to take care of his 4-year-old daughter.
All my grandbaby keeps saying is, "Where's my daddy?" And all I can do is grab her because I don't have the words right now.
Before the shooting, police say the gunman stopped at nearby Edward Waters University, a historically black institution where a school security officer saw him and called police to report a suspicious person on campus.
What he did is totally unacceptable in the state of Florida.
At a prayer vigil, Governor Ron DeSantis vowing to provide more security to Florida HBCUs, but facing boos from the crowd. DeSantis has faced backlash over efforts to change black history education in public schools, with new curriculum standards including a controversial provision that some slaves developed skills that could be used for their personal benefit.
So that means they develop skills in spite of slavery, not because of slavery.
Meanwhile, authorities say the shooter, who took his own life when officers arrived, lived with his parents in this home outside Jacksonville. Adding a suicide note was found in his bedroom. An AR-style rifle and a handgun, one covered in hand-drawn swastikas, were recovered at the scene.
His sickening ideology is not representative of the values of this Jacksonville community.
Police say the gunman had no criminal arrest record, but when he was 15, he was held for 72 hours under Florida's Baker Act for an involuntary mental health evaluation.
None of which barred him from getting an AR. None of them, or a Glock, and why do they always live with their parents? Why? Why do they always live with their parents? You know, if they had to go out on their own and pay $1,500 or $2,000 rent, maybe they wouldn't have some, spare money for guns. Maybe
you just took that right out of my mouth.
Oh my God!
If I lived with my parents, I'd have a Bentley
of guns.
Yeah, well, I would
the Bentley of guns,
I wouldn't
the
go
AR.
Get guns. I would go get a Bentley. These people, they take that extra money and they get ARs.
So it's just so amazing. I mean, here in Florida, where we just passed, the concealed carry without a permit thing, right? We're actually saying to people, get more guns because, more guns means more gun violence. Maybe we could kill each other even faster than Ron DeSantis predicted that we would. I don't know. But, nothing is apparently illegal in Florida until you actually get the bullet into the body of the person you're trying to kill. I mean, it's so sick. It's so sad. This guy, he's, what's really sad, he's 21 years old. Didn't you think we would grow out of the racism? Didn't you think that would be, like a remnant of the past? Oh, no. He's only 21 years old. And believe me, this guy is all about it. He had swastikas on his gun. Like the gun isn't menacing enough. No, you have to put a swastika upon it to make it even uglier, to make it even, scarier, to make it even worse. I mean, it's just like an AR-15 and a I mean, honestly, and he left manifestos everywhere. The guy, it was so premeditated. This 21-year-old who apparently was very lucid, but the history of mental illness in Florida, right? The history that he had of being Baker acted at 16 and at 15, a domestic, a call for domestic violence went to his house. None of this shows up when a person, because you don't have to do anything, backgroundy, or backgroundy wise to, get I don't know. I don't know what it is that we think is going to happen. I don't know what does anybody think is going to happen. Tennessee, they're still trying to get some gun laws there after 3 kids were shot and 3, staff members at a Christian school, the Covenant Christian School. I mean, it is an amazing fascist thing that's going on in this country where the people, most of us, I mean, like in the high 80% range. Sometimes if you phrase the question just so, you could get 98% agreement in this country for red flag laws, for background checks before you can own an AK, an AR. You know what I mean? And we can't get leaders to do it. We can't get the leadership to do. So you have to ask yourself, why would that be? What is going on? Fascist truth is what's going on, and fascist truth is the opposite of truth. You understand that? Where people who talk about racial justice are now the racists, right? I mean, everything is like Alice in Wonderland. Everything is through the looking glass. Everything is just, it's heinous, it's ugly, it's disgusting. And do you remember, I don't know if you remember this, because this was a little detail, an important one, but a detail. Do you remember in the spring before Ron DeSantis announced that he was running for president, the NAACP put out a travel advisory warning black people not to visit Florida because Florida is not a place where blacks were welcome. And this was before he went on this tear about how, African-American history will not be taught, and AP, advanced placement African-American history classes, will not count towards your college degree, right? If you take it in high school, because African-American history isn't history. It isn't American history. I mean, it's very sick. Our classrooms here in Florida are battlefields now. Guns are now political, implements, right? I mean, the idea that Florida needed a travel advisory to tell people not to come to Florida because it was not a safe and friendly, welcoming environment in a state that is known for and makes its living on tourism. What is he trying to accomplish? What is going on? And then, of course, he gets on a stage because, he is running for president now. And he tells us that the 21-year-old who went and left a manifesto where he clearly hated black people, hated them. He didn't want any mistake in his message. He wanted everyone to know. So he told his dad to break it. He texted his dad as he left. He went to go and hunt black people. First, he went to an HBU, historically black university in Jacksonville, and he tried to get in there. But, the idea that he was dressed in tactical gear sort of sent the security guard at the historically black university's antenna. It said, maybe this guy should not be allowed on the campus. So they didn't let him in. So he went to a dollar store and was hunting black people, literally hunting black people like you would hunt a little doe-eyed Zia, a little baby Zia, as they lick in the cool, clear pond of clear water. And then bam! Okay, so this guy actually does this, right? He actually goes hunting. But he tells his father before he leaves the house, he plants a manifesto on his computer and leaves it up. As he's going to do this thing, he texts his dad to go in his room, but his room is locked. So he tells his dad to break into his room with a screwdriver and to look at the computer. His dad breaks into his room, looks at the computer, and reads this manifesto about how his son literally is a white supremacist. He's a Nazi. He's not a neo-Nazi. He's a Nazi, and he hates black people, and he's gone to shoot them. And his father then calls the police, but it's too late. He's already gone hunting. And this is a result of not having any red flag laws, not having any background checks, not having anything that would stop a guy who was Baker acted from getting a weapon. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to RandiRhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.